What I have in mind for this particular week is to work on grief and anger, in particular to do a guided practice of feeling whatever's going on in ourselves. So there's going to be a big emphasis on down regulating. As we work with grief and anger, one of the things we notice is that it's not very comfortable to stay with that a lot of the time. And we tend to go into our dysregulation. So we're going to really focus on down regulating and on staying grounded. One of the practices that we do is shake the tree. It's where we stand up, we shake all of the tension out of our body, flick the tension off the ends of the fingers. We're going to do that as part of the practice. There's also some breathing, many breathing practices that we do. Box breathing is one, 478. Extended exhaling can help to release the tension out of our body. And also just the simple awareness of how am I breathing and the continuity of the breath. So if we're really feeling under some kind of threat, our breath is not going to be smooth and continuous. We're not going to be breathing fully, and it certainly won't have any ease in the breath. So one of the things that we can notice is that we can downregulate our nervous system and feel safer just by having a safer breathing pattern. So I wanted to do a little bit of review. The reason I want to do this is to normalize all of the different reactions that we have. So when we look at a fight response, that is something that happens as a response to threat. And neuroception is our nervous system's assessment of the level of danger or threat right now. It uses a lot of different inputs, including all of our visual stimulation, our breath, what's going on in our body, noise, sounds. So our neuroception assesses threat, and then we respond to it with fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And a fight response is a reactive response. It's our primitive brain's attempt to protect ourselves. We're emotionally flooded, we're disconnected from ourselves, and for the most part, we try to avoid feeling the hurt that's under the anger. And one of the ways that we do that is we go into thoughts. So we might have the associated thoughts with whatever we're angry about. And we also have thoughts that back us up. We get mad and we go on kind of a rant, either in our mind or out or externally. So when we feel the physical sensations of anger in our body, that helps it to stop that recycling process and that justification process. And then as we feel it, then we have more space to really see what else is going on as well. So Pete Walker's, all of his books are really good. The Tao of Fully Feeling is an excellent book to get if you're looking at working with emotion. So he talks about anger is a powerful tool. And if we've never learned through our family situation how to do that, then it's not really possible for us to kind of know that on our own. To work with anger as a powerful emotion and it's a powerful energy, but it's also a powerful tool that helps us to get into what happened to us as a child, that to feel that helplessness, but then to go beyond that and to really feel in our own experience that we're now an adult and we're quite capable of protecting ourselves, which is not the case for children. Grieving is also part of what he really recommends that we do. So there's angering and grieving both as an active process, and that the self-compassion that we can get from grieving helps us to realize that that was not our fault, what happened. And one of the ways that we might work with that sometimes is to go into, if that happened to a child that we know or a dear friend, very similar circumstances, would you be critical of them? Would you be compassionate with them? And sometimes we can open up that space of compassion for ourselves through grieving. And to really acknowledge that when we're hurt, especially as a child, we internalize that and feel like there was something wrong with us, that we're bad, and that's why we were hurt. But in fact, that's not the case at all. We're hurting because we were hurt, not because we're bad. So as we develop the capacity to see how the mechanism of this, how it all works, and to develop some compassion for ourselves to learn how to be on our own side, then we can move into self-nurturing rather than self-attacking and self-abandoning. This is the process, and I'm going to just walk us through it first, and then we're going to actually do it. So we're going to stay really regulated in our nervous system. We'll do some breathing, tapping, other awareness tools. And you know a lot of these tools already. So tap on your forehead, take your attention into the sound and sensation of that. Open your eyes, look around the room. 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel. You might do box breathing, any of those tools to help bring you back. Start with grounding. We're going to keep coming back to grounding. Then we're going to recall a time when you were hurt, abused, intimidated, or shown contempt. Could be a time really recently, could be a time in the past. And then as we remain present of our body and breath, we're going to allow the anger to arise and really tune into what it feels like in the body. Is it hot? What's the location? Is it moving? That kind of thing. Then you're going to express the anger however you want. If you want to make fists in the air, if you want to yell, however you want to do that, however you want to express. We're going to have a couple of minutes for that. We're going to come back to regulation. And then we're going to bring our adult self into connection with the younger self who was abused. And we're going to see if we could have a conversation in a way. I know it seems kind of funny to say that, our adult self having a conversation with our younger self, but our younger self needs to know that it wasn't fair and it wasn't our fault. And so we're going to focus, we'll give that some time, focus on the connection and the emotions and feel the grief, and then come back into regulation. So if we look at that ladder on the left, the dorsal vagal is freeze. I can't cope. I've had enough. I just can't do anything more. And we go into kind of a freeze. The sympathetic arousal is I'm in danger. I need to run or fight back. And then the ventral vagal, the green, is when we feel connected to the greater world. The real kicker there is that we have to feel connected to ourselves first. So we can't connect really with the greater world unless we have at least some capacity to be really present with ourselves. That's the outline of what we're going to do. Let's start with regulating. Many of you have a favorite or a couple favorites already that you do when you're starting to feel yourself getting lost or getting into panic or into a rage. And so if you have a favorite, go ahead and do that. So notice your feet on the floor, your seat. Notice your breath. And take a few deeper breaths. And long exhalation. And then the next deep inhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. And then just let your breath go. Deep inhales. Long exhales. And relax your whole body from head to toes and be aware of your body. Notice your forehead and eyebrows. Notice if you're clenching your teeth. If you are, put a space there in between your top and bottom teeth. And look around the room. As you're looking around, notice the cues of safety. Notice if your shoulders are up around your ears. If they are, move them around. Let them soften and settle. All right. And notice now, before we go into the practice, notice now what the energy and sensations are in your body. So right now there might be a little bit of anticipation of what might be happening. You might have already kind of gone into it. And that's fine, but just notice what are the sensations in the interior of your body in particular. And stay connected with your breath in your belly. Notice as you're breathing out diaphragmatically, there's a softening of your belly. As you breathe in, there's an expansion. And then bring to mind a time that you want to work with right now where you were hurt or abused, intimidated. It might have been at work. It might have been when you were a child. Somehow you were shown contempt and you were hurt. And bring that in as vividly as you can, remembering that we're trying to stay present in this moment and witness whatever it is that we're bringing up. So you could have your eyes open. You could have, if you have images, put them on the wall on the other side of the room. But stay connected with your body and your breath. and notice, how does it feel? What happened was not right. And it felt like there was some kind of abuse going on, and there's anger that you may or may not feel when you first start. But if that was somebody else, this is a situation where it's clear your boundaries were broken or you were hurt somehow. And so see if you can get in touch with anger about that. And as you're doing that, continue to be aware in your body. And what does it feel like? There might be some thoughts in the mind. They shouldn't have done that. What a jerk, or whatever it is. And notice what it feels like in your body. Maybe it feels kind of frozen. There's no anger right now. But see if you can keep breathing and see if you can just, we're only going to do this for about 2 minutes. So see if you can let that open. Inhale and exhale. Oh, I'm really angry. That person. And notice if there's heat in the sensation. If your vision has changed, notice the physical experience of that. And now for about 2 minutes, and I'll remind you when the 2 minutes is up. So there's a container here. If you can, in the room that you're in, the location you're in, see if you can really express that anger. What would you say? What would you do with your body? No. Whatever that is, let yourself do that. And if it feels like it's too much, just come back to your breath, back to this moment. Let yourself really get into it. You hurt me. That wasn't right. You're a Let yourself really express how you feel. Let that anger really get hot and let it out. Use your arms. You could move your body. Use your words. Let it rip. And stay present in your body. And then bring that to a close. And if you're not quite finished, keep on going with it. And then let's come back to regulation. So stand up, shake your body, shake the whole thing out. Let your body really move. Feel your feet grounded on the floor. You could have your hands in the air, fists in the air. Throw it down, open your fingers, and let it go down into the earth as you breathe out. Really shake your body. Let it out. And if you're ready, start to let your breath settle. Take some deeper breaths, some long exhalations. And this time, if you want, you could use the syllable "vu" as you breathe out. So breathe in deeply. Exhale, "vu." And do that 3 or 4 times. Let your body soften again. Forehead and eyebrows, mouth and jaw, neck and shoulders, belly. And then, however you might want to imagine this, maybe you see yourself sitting. I often see myself sitting on the side of the bed with my 12-year-old. But however you might imagine that, bring your adult self into connection with your younger self who was abused, who was hurt. Now, what might you want to say to that younger you? These are some examples. It wasn't fair what happened to you. It wasn't your fault. You didn't deserve that. And it's not your fault that you weren't protected. I'm here now, your adult self. You're not alone anymore. Notice your body, notice your breath. In this moment right now, you're not in danger the way you were back then. And look into your eyes. You might be giving them a hug. What might they want to say to you? To let yourself connect. Feel the grief. If you remember what it felt like as a child when that happened to you, feel that now. And what does that feel like in your body? There might be angry tears or sadness or all kinds of different things. It might feel heavy in your chest. Notice your response and let yourself feel for about another minute. And then come back into regulation again. And if you're not quite finished, that's fine too. Just stay with it. And let your younger self and let yourself know in your body and in your nervous system that right now you're safe. And do some longer, continuous breathing. You could use Vu again, you could count. Just let yourself breathe in fully. Let yourself breathe out fully. And oftentimes we hold our breath. So if that was happening, see if you could let your breath be smooth. Make a journal note or just assimilate, however it is that you want to do this. Coming back into regulation and connection with yourself.